Okay, so now here's our system. It's ready. We just need to now start, let it communicate with the, first thing first, it must communicate with the database. Right? Let's start right there. Talk to the database. So we do that by going to web.config at the very end here. Oh, let me just say yes. I don't know is the yes for it. Let's just agree. So you can see here, there's already a connection string, right? This connection string is leading us to a local database sitting somewhere on data source. Okay, so that is not the correct connection string. Our database is sitting on Azure, right? So we need to go back to Azure, look for a database. This is the database. So we need to look for the connection string. Here is it. Connection string. Connection string. You see it's already, there's even a tool to copy it, right? I copy it, but you can see the password is hidden. Eh? It's not going to show us the password. So even on the other side, when we paste it here, this is where it's supposed to come. Connection string, paste it. The password will be hidden. You will see it here. You can see, ne? Password. The username is there, it's Tendo, but the password is hidden. So I must remove those hidden features and put the correct password. So I think it's pass@word2021, if I'm not mistaken. That should do it.
The password you used to create the server.
Yes, that's the password to log into the server. You remember those ones that I said I already have like predefined username and password that I use most of the time. Yeah, so that is basically the password I use for learning purpose. So this side, I think we should be done. Yeah, we should be done. So that means this part already, if I run this app, we should be done with like database connectivity for everything.
Is it possible to do it with SQL, like the app?
The server management studio?
Yeah.
To get the connection string?
Yeah.
Yeah. The same way I just went about it.
Oh.
You get the connection string on your side, you just come and plug it here. But remember, now I was doing it because now I want to click register, right? And put my users. This will be my admin users, right? So I'll come here. Okay, I'm on new account. Just gonna put information there. Okay, let's just say Tendo, or let's say admin. No, this will be for students. So let me just say Tendo at ddna.co.za. Same password, pass@word2021, pass@word2021. Let's hope this is correct. If it registers, then we're good to go, because it will be telling us it's registering on Azure, right? It's gonna have to take its time. I mean, that database is sitting somewhere else. There we go. Now, if you remember last week, we got similar error to say someone is connecting to the database. This IP address is blocking us, so it's not recognized on the database. So that is a setting we do on. So there's a firewall, predefined firewall on Azure that blocks almost everything. So this is we're looking for the server. This is the server now. So on the server, you will see that there is a firewall here. Firewall settings. So if you click on firewall settings, right, and then you go to add a new IP, it's gonna add the one that it already knows, right? The other thing you can do, you can always say allow Azure services to connect automatically without being requested for password. So this one I will say what was trying to be connected here. This was the what are we doing? The app itself. Okay, local app. Okay, then I just have to hit save, and then once I get a tick here that things are good, I don't even have to do anything. I can just hit back and repeat the same thing. You know, the good thing is most of the things we didn't have to stress about, like make the system to be password strong, right? It's already embedded on the system. We don't have to program that part. to say, hey, we can request more data. We can say, what's your name? We can add those names. But these are already like predefined ones that are simple to work with. There we go. Right? The user has been registered. We can see that by there is saying hello Tendo, what, right? So that means this app is already talking to a database sitting on Azure. You get how powerful this is to say we have an app. This app has not yet been published, by the way. Sitting locally on our machine, we're working on it, but the aim is to publish it to Azure. Okay. Now let's deal with this voting and students and classes. I think we're going to start with classes, then we move to students, right? Yes, because there must be a class before we have a student. Right? It's not student and class. Yeah, it's a class then students. Okay, to close this, it will stop the app from running. It's correct. Now, if I still remember my moves very well, I think where we start, we now go to models. Right? This is the bigger part. Now, this is the programming part. So you must pay full attention to this one. It can get crazy here. So we go to our model. We create a class. New class. Okay. This will just be a simple C# class. Nothing fancy on it. But we have to call it. This one is for classes, ne? But because a class is already a predefined word, I'm very scared of using the word class. You know? Maybe classes might work. I'm not really sure. Because class is already like classes, it's the meaning of class, ne? But let's take a risk. Let's see. Right. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. Now, first things to do is to define the primary key. So you just go right like that, you write key. You are supposed to get an error once you do that. Let me just maximize it. Once you do that, you're supposed to get an error. You get to suggestions. You use data annotations, gathering all suggestions. But we know we're looking for generic data annotations. There we go. This one, give me that one. There we go. So that is done. Next thing, we are supposed to write that a public what, but it's long. So what we write is PRO, like short for property. Then you just press tab twice. What true? There we go. It's gonna set up things for us. So the first one, obviously, we can call it. Let's say this is classes underscore ID. Okay, sitting on int, it's fine. We do another prop. This one will be type string, and then this one will be I usually don't like moving away from the word classes underscore name. Okay. Let's leave it like that. That's all we need. That is all we. I think that is all we need. Okay, one more model. Add a new model. In fact, a class. This one is for students. Okay, student. The C# class. There we go. Same thing. You start with this primary key to identify the primary key. It's going to complain you don't have data annotations. You're going to go to the suggestion, allow the data annotations. Then you come back, you continue with your prop. As I've shown you previously, I pick this one up. I just put underscore ID. This becomes a primary key. That means we don't have to enter it anymore. Next up, you hit another prop. These are students, right? So maybe let's just give it full names. Full names is not an int, so we're gonna have to change to strings. Yeah, I'm interested in the full names of the student and the class they're coming from. So this is when we're registering a student now. It's going to be lit. So now, the next prop, it's usually, we want to say when you're registering a student, we'll write Terence, right? you select the class that Terence is in. You get it? So you're selecting because we already have what? A class called classes. So what we're going to do now is to just write a virtual prop. So this is a property, but it's virtual. A virtual property, okay, called classes. Virtual property works on like this. Ooh, this is tough. Is this all we do? Yeah, I think this is all we do. Then that means if we are getting classes from the classes, we must go and make some changes on the class, on this class called classes this side. Okay, like import, we must import something. Okay, so we are importing or sending. So as we send, we also send a virtual I think this is a list like that of where are we sending this. We're sending this to students. Based on students. Ooh. Is this information correct? I think I'm missing something here. Anyone with an idea of what what am I missing? Let me reference. Do I have an existing project somewhere that I utilized? Visual Studio is killed us here with this repo that sits this far. Okay. Online register, dynamic mind, finance, Azure, online register, clock in. I remember clock in. I think this one was one of the Guru projects. Clock. Give me clock on Notepad++. Oh, okay, let me see. Status ID. Oh, from status. Okay, we get the primary key of that class. Okay, good. So now we are missing this property. It's an integer, and we get it as it's basically this first property here, as it is. But then underneath it, we must mention that this is being copied from the previous things that are D from, yeah, it's basically like that. And it's not virtual. The first one is not virtual. Then the second one, where we're mentioning where it's coming from, is virtual. Right. So save all of this. You don't have to run it now, but you must build your system to allow this class to be embedded, so that on the other programming side, it will remember that we created classes. Ooh, good change, good trick. Okay, everything is fine. After this, all we have to do now is go to our controllers. Go to controllers. Let's see how many controllers we have so far. We only have 3. So each class must have its own controller. So I'm gonna say add a new controller with views. Okay, so I'm gonna pick first the model, data context, and then secondly the class name. So the other class I did was for students, so there we go. Just add this. First one does take time, especially on scaffolding. How far are we with this recording? Can't even see. This is the first scaffolding, so I think it's almost done. Remember, this one creates you almost, how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of HTML based on what is inside this class. Okay, so that one has been done. I don't have to do anything on that controller, right? So most of the things have been taken care of. So I'm adding the last controller, which is the controllers with views. Add. This time around, I'm looking for the one I wrote, which is classes. Don't add controllers that you didn't create, because you don't know what's inside those classes. So you must first go look into the class themselves, then and understand what's happening. So I told you, like, the second one is much faster. Right, with the class and the controllers already there, you need to build and see that nothing went wrong with that. Everything's like it went fine and smooth. Last thing we just need to deal with now is to link up these things. So if you go to the shed and you go to layout, now you have a chance to, where were we? You have a chance to say, okay, on these two things, index, this is fine, still home. On these students, you want it to take you to the view called students. So I basically like just copying the name here, pasting it on students, and for classes, you want the same for classes. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will get us far. Okay, so this application, remember, is still locally based. We have not moved it to Azure yet. But the data, it will be sitting at Azure, right? That's where the data will be sitting, on Azure. Okay, there we go. So remember, I've logged in already, so my data is still there. The only thing that has changed now is when I click on classes, let's see if it's going to take it to that view for classes. Because if it does, that means we are done. Okay, it did not. It is taking us back to the code. Oh, okay, all right. I'm forgetting before we run, guys. I'm forgetting the major parts. This is the last part now, né? The migration, and maybe it's no, you will get them on the video. If you go to tools and we go to the packet manager console, it's gonna load here, and that, I think we start by saying enable minus migrations. Let's see if that's the correct wording. I think it is. We're supposed to get a new folder called migrations here. Checking if the context target exists in the database. There we go. So it's gonna work. After enabling the migration, I think we add, then we update the database. There we go. Migration seems like it has worked. Okay. Add minus migration. And then the name of the migration. Let's just say first MIG. Did it add? That was fast. Scaffolding. Okay, that was fast. The next one is just to say update minus database. Okay, this one can be tricky, eh? Last one here, you will forever get errors here on this one. You want to avoid that. Okay, there we go. You know what? I'm feeling very confident about this application. So the next thing to do now, I don't want to run it, I want to publish it. That's how confident I'm feeling. So that you guys run it from where you are sitting. So I'm just going to say hit publish, because publish is also going to run. So if I don't get any errors from that part, I know I'm doing something nice. So here you just select those things you designed already. You need to be signed in, re-enter your credentials. Maybe this will need the app service. What's wrong with this person? Okay. Let's hit sign in. Approve. Oh, again. I'm supposed to open the app here. Approve. Okay, as you can see, it's picking up things. For now, it's saying nothing has been found. Okay, let me refresh. Oh, I chose the wrong subscription. Thank you for that. There we go. Here is my app service plan. I don't want to put it on deployment slot. Just want to put it on the app itself. Okay, but here, because it has got SQL already, né, I must configure SQL as well. You can see here there's database as you go down. So you must come and say configure this SQL that has been identified. And this is Azure SQL database. It's almost the same thing. It's going to pick up the database itself, and then you just hit next. You know, default connection, username. This is where it's also tricky. You put those things. Okay, let me have a look if I type the right password. Okay, it looks like it's fine. This one also takes its own time. Then on your side, guys, I think all you have to do now is to go to, where is my app service?
So if I, oh,
Yeah, this is the app service. So you guys go to this link on your computers or on your phone. I mean, this is now global. Oh, okay. It's a dynamic DNA. One word. voting.azureWebsites.net websites. Okay, there should be nothing for now.
there's nothing.
Yeah, so it's just gonna load an empty page until I publish this site, and it's gonna take some time. We can reschedule it to say publish at 12, publish at this time, right? Then we put a countdown page to say we're counting down. You have seen these things in other professional websites.
I wanted to ask about the database thing. So if I check, I do the thing I did last time, like put it on the SQL server manager,
Yeah.
and then I put the link, and then I connect to the online database, and then create everything here. And then if I connect the model to my MVC project, will it still connect?
It will. You see, the only problem you'll have is when you publish.
Oh,
So if, let's say, you have a local database, your database is sitting here, dynamic DNA, or on a machine somewhere else.
yeah.
It's not on Azure, right? When you publish, you've got different problems because the app will be sitting in the cloud, the database will be sitting on private. And as you can see, you go to that link again, just refresh, you will see that there's just, the only difference now is that it's black, né? Let me fix the black part. Is this the system app? I think this is it. Let me look for is it advanced tools. I just want to fix that part because apparently when we arrive here and you have published, things doesn't look the same anymore. So we need to just do one more tweaking. I think we go with say PowerShell. And I'm going to look for the root, which is the site, the root, content, bootstrap.css min. Yes. Done. Now you can reload on your side now. Let's see if my color will come back. Should be blue now. Okay, so obviously for you guys, just go there, register first. But there's no link for now whether you have to register or what. You can work on the app without registering. Main aim is that I can switch off my machine. Everything I've just done is now online. The database, the what, it's now online. So here you can see on the screen, I can go create classes. You can say my first class is virtual. I think we do have a class called virtual. You can create this class to be created. You can go create another one. Powerful. Like that. Now, if I've got those classes listed there, I can add a new student. And you can see from there, I'm able to select which student is this one, Tina Shabanya, sitting in virtual. Can you see the link between the two classes? So far, that is your only task for today. Do an app like this using the videos and